Don't judge me when I stare at your wife's
real
clit.
tits.
Yeah.
All right. There we go.
There we go.
You can find that thing.
Hey, it's Herbert. And you're listening to the About Last Night podcast, you slippery little son of a bitch.
About last night.
Always in a hotel.
All
Mark
right.
Norman.
I'm a road dog. I'm a nut.
Yeah. Where are you? Irvine or Brea?
Oh, worse. Sacramento, California.
Ah, the Irvine of the Northwest.
I always say Sacramento is like San Francisco's straight schlubby brother. It's like, it's kind of ugly. It's kind of boring. It still lives at home. Whereas like San Francisco's like a gay guy, like, woo.
Yeah, why does Sacramento always get
and shit?
Sacramento always gets a bad rap. It's always like there's certain cities you can make a meth joke in right away and people go, yeah, that's because we do it. And Sacramento is one of those places.
Yeah.
Am I coming in too hot, by
Yep.
the way? Is my mic too hot? You tell me.
No.
All right.
Perfect. I'm just noticing how gross my keyboard is.
Oh, dude, yeah. Welcome to the club. I mean, what do you think
Yeah.
you got more crunched into your buttons? Cheez-It dust, tum dust, or jizz?
What was the second one?
Tum dust.
What's that?
Little shavings of a tum. You ever eat a tum or some sort of antacid?
Oh, tum. I thought it was like a Thai dish. You ever get tum dust? No. Definitely dust and dandruff. I'm a dandruff cunt over here. I'm a snow globe.
By the way, that's one of the comedy clubs here in Australia. Is dandruff cunt. I mean, you laugh at that.
I got to get in there. I'd kill.
But the word, it's so funny. I told a few of the Aussie comics that I'm going to go kick it with after this, that I'm having you on the pod, and they're big fans. And then they went on to say, oh, he's a mad cunt. I love him. He's a mad cunt. Mad cunt. So
I'll take it.
Yeah.
That's what we call Marjorie Taylor Greene. So it's a different culture.
Oh, I lost you, but you're probably coming right back. I can hear you.
There we go.
Boom.
Now we're cooking.
Yeah, because let's be honest, we want the clearest picture of downtown Sacramento behind you. There it is. Oh, that's not that bad.
I
mean,
a lot of roof.
Yeah.
Some warehouses.
Yeah, it's not that bad. Said nobody ever. It is a great club, though.
Exactly. Oh, dude, I love this club. We sold out 7 shows. I'm selling merch. It's a town it's weird enough and far away enough that people are like, thank you for coming. Oh,
yes.
my God.
Yes. Those are cool cities, right? Like there's something, it's like there's other clubs up there, but it's like that is the club. And it's like that is the place where people flock, where they go, all right, if good comedy's coming, it's coming here. All right, 7 shows, dude. That's impressive. That's exciting.
Thank you, man. I mean, this is probably my 4th or 5th time doing it. And I did the whole thing. I hosted, I featured there. I did the paper tickets, headlining, and now to sell out the shows. It's nice to see some progression.
Dude, good for you, man. You're doing some, I feel like the first time I remember hearing and having it register was when Sebastian sold out 7 shows at Gotham in New York. And Mazzilli was like, man, we added shows. And, this obviously was when he was doing clubs. And so this is probably 10 or so years ago, maybe more. And I remember just that being like that just kind of fucked me up because I was like, wow, like that to me seemed like, holy shit, I didn't even know you could do that. So first of all, I was like, can you do that? He's like, it's my fucking club, man. And like, yeah, why wouldn't we do that? I was like, but like, what about the other people? He's like, yeah, I mean, we'll just push it into the weekend. Like they're not selling like this. I was like, oh, I get it now. Like if that's the crowd you start bringing in, then like the club adjusts and they want that. They would love to have Mark
Exactly.
Norman be in Sacramento for 4 months straight if they could.
Yeah, and I'll take it. I'm a club guy. Like,
Me too,
to
man.
me, we're low self-esteem queefs. We don't need. I mean, you're in movies and shit with big A-listers, but I like this level. I don't want to be Seinfeld or any of that, or Sebastian. That's too scary for me.
Is it because you like do you like the I don't know, the connection that you obviously can get more so in a club than in an arena, obviously?
It's that, but it's mostly mental. Like, you ever have this? This is a problem I have. I'll hit on a girl, in my single days, and she doesn't like me, and I like her more. But if a girl's into me, I'm clueless. I can't think of anything to say. I freeze up because I don't know if the crowd likes me. I find
Pressure's
them
on.
harder. If the pressure's on, you got to bring it. They got to live. You got to live up to their standards, and that scares me.
Yeah, I completely agree, dude. There's something. It's almost like being in a club is almost like being in that I don't know, in that feature spot where you're like, all right, there's pressure, man. I mean, look, 7 shows. It's weird. It's like you feel less pressure from that than you would maybe with one big sold out arena show, right? But 7 shows
100%.
is like that. There's, you wouldn't be wrong to feel pressure from that because that's just telling you that, like, all right, like, I mean, that's a lot of people coming out for you. But I guess it's also there's something to be said about just being comfortable in the space and not wanting to deviate from that. But you've done. But you
I
did
gotta grow up.
But you did Red Rocks with Bert, right?
Again, I did Red Rock with Bert, but I was the opener. It was the cushy spot. He sells out 10,000 tickets. We get drunk in the green room. We do IVs. We did shrooms. We saw Jimmy Buffett the next night.
Oh my God,
it's great. But again, I'm the opener, and that was a nice cushy spot.
Have you ever been to Australia, where I am right now, by the way?
I did the Melbourne Comedy Festival in 2015. I had a fucking blast.
Yeah, dude. This is I mean, I got to go back, I guess, to the States, but like, fuck, man. There's a real I get why Arj Barker
Where are
just
you?
stayed.
Yeah.
Currently across from a Target and an Outback Steakhouse, but I'm in Queensland, in the Gold Coast, which is like the real touristy, babe-filled. I mean, this is like, I don't know if you want to call it the Santa Barbara of Australia. It's I just walked around last night for a couple hours just by myself, just lonely American, and I saw so many like 50-year-old guys with like 25-year-old girls.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's that type of place, and just people. This is a place where people like to go out. I mean, people are getting fucked up at the curves out here. It's that type of vibe,
Yeah, when I went, I fit right in because it's a bunch of honkies out there, and they're beachy, they're party, and they don't have the white guilt that we have from slavery and whatnot, and they don't have that weird division with their country, like the left, the right, Trump, Biden, all that horse shit.
1,000%.
They just live, man.
Bro, I saw so many. You're spot on. I saw so many different, and it was like shocking. I would see so many different types of people sitting with different types of people and being like,
yes,
look at that fat black lady with that tiny Asian man. And they're laughing.
Right.
I literally saw that last night and like clocked that as like not like a, an outlandish type, like something I've never seen before, but it just was, there's just lots of pairings of people. Like there seemed like no one was having an argument about something that was truly like dividing that or making it tough for them to truly maybe ever, be on the same page. So you're spot on with that. It's a weird thing to be around.
It's refreshing. We'll sit and bitch and moan about like, did you see Patton Oswalt with Dave Chappelle? He apologized. And everybody's like, I know, fuck that guy. And you're like, dude, you shouldn't care this much.
We love the small little. Why do we love the small?
We love it.
They don't have TMZ Australia out here, I don't think. I mean, and that's great.
Yeah. I'll tell you why we love it, because we got it so fucking good. You can't complain unless you have it good. That's what people don't realize. Like, Black people have been wildly oppressed, obviously, Jim Crow, civil rights. And I feel like Black people talk more about racism now because they have the freedom to. They can go on the internet, they can go on the radio, they can go on the TV and whatever. And so if you have freedom, you can actually complain more. Not to just, I mean, women do it. Everybody does it. It's like, it's a privilege.
Yeah.
That makes sense, or did that come off horrible?
No, we'll probably edit that out. But yeah, no, that's no, it's perfect. I've always appreciate how thoughtful you are with stuff like that. I don't know if that's like when I see you on podcasts and this one especially, like you know, you're obviously a silly fuck. You goof around a good amount, but I don't know in your regular day-to-day how much you're thinking. What's the percentage of you thinking about jokes, and what's the percentage of you thinking about stuff, I mean, social issues or just worldly affairs, like things that like that, where you're clocking, like you see the outrage on something, and then you always try to dilute it with your post, which I love, where you'll be like, this is happening, fucking world hunger, blah, 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 you know, everybody's gay, this, blah, 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 and then like, and now I'm in Sacramento, and it's like, and I always love that because you're basically, it's such a shout out to like, fucking stop making such a meal out of these things that are just taking up so much of your time and energy. And everybody does it. Everyone's guilty of it. Even my mom, who is, you know, real smart, and obviously she's 71 now, so getting a little to that point to where she's, I think, starting to, you know, care about. She's taking headlines and then like passing them on to me without doing the research. Like she'll see some headline.
Yeah, yes.
She's doing what like I used to do as a kid when I'd see a National Enquirer headline where I'd see like a picture of Oprah and they're like, Oprah gave birth to a two-headed, you know, fucking Jew Twinkie baby. And you're like, oh, and then I see it and I'm like, whoa. And then I repeat that info to someone. My mom was like, did you hear about Joe Rogan and he's an anti-vaxxer? And I'm like, Mom, you're smart enough to like, you know, go through, what did you see? And she's like, oh, he's the CNN guy. I was like, all right, like, you know, yeah, there's a lot to it. So just, but I like that you find that balance. So how much, I guess the question, how much of the day is jokes and farting around, and how much is like really thinking about all the extra bullshit?
Well, my mom said the same exact thing because I did Rogan and she was like, isn't he a bad guy? And I'm like, he's actually one of the nicest guys I've ever met. And he's done so much for comedians and whatnot. But I think old people or adults or whatever, they're still, I'm an adult, you're an adult, but you know what I mean? Grown-ups, real adults.
Yes.
They still think the media is real, you know, whereas we get older and we're in show business a little bit. So we're like, oh, everybody's just trying to spin a story and get a click. So that's just something I've learned as you get older and been in the business more. Yeah,
it's I get excited to get to that age though, where I get to this like you know, not have to really comb through my thoughts or self-edit and just get to say stuff and just go.
Totally.
Do you?
But the joke question, to answer your joke, they go hand in hand. Like the social commentary, it just turns into a joke. So they're kind of one and the same.
You did. Do you ever surprise yourself with how quick something comes to your brain? I saw 2 different clips on your IG. One when you were talking about, somebody said, "How big's your dick?" And then you said you rattled off like 5 or 6 zingers in a row, and they all built towards like an applause break, which was great. And I watched the wheels turning in your head as you were like finding it. And like I could see that like you once, and then you said like, oh, it's about this, and then it's about 6, and then you said 7 if you measure from my belly button, and you said it's about 6, and then you just kept stacking, and I'm like, oh, he's just trying to top himself, which is to get to that point to where you're just like truly trying to challenge your own joke quickness. I was like, that's the goal, because then you're just, rapid fire, and then you were like, I'm all vain. And then and 3 more things, and then you said if I'm ever doing heroin, and then you were like right to the hog, and then that, and it just built. And I like saw you kind of like find all that. When you get to that, is it just second nature, or you're like, yeah, of course I like these things just come and I say them, or even when you got to that, do you have even a little bit of like, oh fuck, that was great?
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the bottom line is, look, I used to skateboard, and you make a skateboard video, you're only showing what you land. So that video, there's a lot of me trying zingers and bombing, and that one just clicked, and that one just took off. So I think it's the magic of editing, I mean, that is one full piece. I didn't edit that apart, but
No, I
like,
love that. Yeah.
A, it's just clipping the good shit, and B, you gotta fail and try shit and throw shit against the wall. And most of that set was throwing shit against the wall and getting nothing, and that one just clicked. So I got lucky with that one.
Did skateboarding teach you that? Just to keep trying and fail?
Keep going, and then just put the video out of the shit you land.
Holy shit. What were some of the songs that you put? Because for sure, I used to watch kids in high school cut their skateboarding videos, and they were they were dog shit. But I appreciated the craft of it, and I love that they were making little videos, because that started to, like, you know, when I was getting interested in that. So I would see them cutting these videos of them doing tricks that I was like, oh, I can't even skateboard, but I think I could do that. And then cut to me on rollerblades, falling and immediately just being like, oh, you guys are the next Tony Hawks. But like, what sort of songs would you put behind your skate videos? Classic 90s punk?
All punk all day long, but I was such a dork that I would put a lot of reggae. I thought reggae was cool with skating because it was like light and airy, but still had a good beat. So we all made skate videos, and I put Bob Marley as my song. And looking back, it's so corny. It's like, we jamming, you know, me sliding down a rail. I like to jam it with you. And I'm like, what was I thinking? I should have put some punk or some gangster rap or something.
Oh my God.
So
it's so funny at that age.
Punk and all that.
Especially with those songs and those videos, you're basically like cutting together a piece of like, this is who I see myself as.
Yes.
And you're like, nobody sees you as this guy. Nobody sees you and goes, oh, dude, like when I see Mark skate, I'm just hearing Bob Marley, dude. He's that.
I know.
He's that musical and casual.
Yeah, I was trying to be exotic and interesting. Like, oh, nobody uses Bob Marley when they have a skate video. That'll be different, but it just turned out so forced and cheesy.
Wait, do you still skateboard? I know Chris Porter. I'll see him skateboard around LA from time to time, and it makes me giggle because I just associate it with such a, like, it feels like such a child. It's like when I see an adult on a skateboard, I go, why don't you just get the wheelie shoes? Is what I think. But like those feel like they're cheaper, and at least like there's like a joke element there where people can go, but you got here quick though.
Yeah.
But then I also
gotta get Brad Williams some wheelies just for the fun of it.
I gave Brad.
Push him around.
I got gifted this. It's called like a funky duck. It's it was those hoverboards. You know those. And I gave it to Brad, and he mastered it in about 2 hours. And when he was doing the pod with me, he used to come up the hill to my apartment on that thing, and I would go out to meet him on the street to let him in. And it was the best part of my day because I just see a dwarf coasting up the hill on a hoverboard. And you'd see cars slow down, and Brad's like, yeah, I just caused 4 accidents on Sunset. because the amount of people that are just like, is that can I should I stop and make a wish? Like who
I mean, forget a hot chick jogging. You see that, and you got to pull over. I mean, that you got to pull your phone out. You got to record that. That is a huge day.
What are the things because you're in you were just in LA for a bit? What are the things that you that'll make you stop? You know, because obviously New York, LA, a lot of distractions. LA probably more so with the billboards and just you're driving around more. So I think there's more to look at. But what is something if you're driving or even on the subway? Like, I guess craziest thing you've seen on a subway, and then I'll go, what distracts you in LA? Let's
see. In LA, I think this is only in LA you have this. Handsome homeless. You got like hot homeless guys out there because first of all, it's LA. Second of all, they're all tan. And third, you have the most homeless, so the odds are in your favor of having a hot one.
We trick ourselves to thinking tan means successful, don't we?
Good point. I mean, what about like a migrant worker?
Yeah, what about them?
They're dark as shit. Don't get me started on slavery. But yeah, you're right. The tan is always associated with wealth and like relaxing in the Virgin Islands, but it could just be a strawberry picker.
Maybe that's why people step over all these bums in LA. They're like, look how tan you are, man. Oh, clearly you have time to relax. They're like, yeah, dude, I have all the time. Fucking
right.
A sandwich.
If you're newly homeless, your outfit just looks kind of rugged. You know, it's not all the way shit stained and blood splattered.
Good point. Yeah, because you're coming off of, if you're newly homeless, nobody starts out homeless, right?
Right.
Well, I mean, white privilege table for one with that statement. What I mean, nobody. I mean, but I feel like like there's probably at some point, at least in the few bums that I used to talk to in college that were always right outside this donut shop called Spud Nuts, they would always tell us their stories of how they got to where they were, and it was always kind of a crazy thing of like, I was living with my sister, and then she fucking, got pregnant and moved away. And then I got to stay in her place for another month. And then I got fired from Chick-fil-A. And then but then there's always like, and then they're like, and then blah, blah, blah. And then this happened. And then here I am in front of the donut shop asking you guys if I can play with your dick. And you're like, well, what else happened between that? Like I feel like there's a big, like you were living there. And then how much time went by before you truly like were unpresentable to any establishment for hiring?
Totally.
Like,
I know. I find that so crazy. People always skip steps like that. I want to know every ounce of how you got here.
What was that? Wait, so what'd you say? Craziest thing on the subway? Did you answer that?
Oh, crazy. I mean, Subway, like the jerking off now has gone up tenfold with the pandemic. So
God, that's not a joke, is it?
I'm used to.
That's
not even novelty anymore.
Is that so you just see it now, and so you almost if you don't see a homeless guy jerking off on a subway, you're like, dude, what's going on right now? Why is this the right train?
Yes, exactly.
Is it
not the beat train?
Yeah, there's seeing I was gonna say something. The subway in New York with the amount of dicks that I hear that are coming out, it's almost like that's the new Chatroulette.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, did you ever go on Chatroulette?
I did it once or twice. It was just so many dicks hit me in the face. I felt like, Tara Reid. It was too much. I had to get out of there. Sorry for the old reference.
No. She's coming back. That's very topical.
Oh, great.
Yeah, she just bought Chatroulette. That was one of those sites where I go, man, took you long enough. It was almost like Two Girls, One Cup. I go, it took us that long for this to come out.
Right.
Because for sure that was happening behind closed doors. No part of Two Girls, One Cup was I like, no way. Is this what people do? Yeah, for sure. Do you know where you live? Have you seen some of the TV that's coming out? Two Girls, One Cup I'm surprised that didn't make it to HBO Max at some point. But you see Chatroulette and you're like, man, just absolutely no way to stop the dicks.
No. And I got to tell you, just from being on there for 11 seconds, there's a lot of huge dongs out there. You ladies, there's a plethora of giant American cock. So Godspeed.
Yeah, get off Tinder and head over to Chatroulette. I wonder, there's got to be, I'm always curious the way that, you see people that are like fucked up grinding on each other at a club. And you're like, man, that couple, I always create the scenario in my head where I'm like, I hope they go home tonight, bang it out, wake up, like fall in love, get married, have kids. And tonight's their story. Like tonight's the story they get to tell their kids. And maybe the guy was even like a little creepy coming out of the bathroom, beeline to the chick, kind of pushed a couple drinks on her. And she's like, that's the story that they got to tell their kids. Same thing with like Chatroulette. You're like, I mean, do you tell the actual tale or do you fabricate it?
Yeah, right. Are you on there or is it over?
It's got to be over. But I've just heard a couple Chatroulette stories as of late, and so it definitely makes me curious to go back on, but not for the barrage of dicks. I feel like
there's got to be one couple out there that met on there. Like every time they go to a dinner party or a cocktail gathering, like, oh, how'd you guys meet? Well, Tinder or whatever. They lie, but there's got to be one couple in America that met on there.
And even if they say they like, and she's like, he was the one guy who didn't take it out. Like, no one's gonna believe him.
No,
be like,
come on.
Nobody was on there for networking. What was that picture of you in a cop uniform on your gram?
Oh,
is that an acting job?
So I wish. I can't get an audition. Every audition I've failed completely.
Do you want to act?
I don't know how you. No, I don't want to, but I feel like I should do. I get all these self-tapes from my agent, and I feel like a dick being like, no thanks. So I do it to be a team player, and I hate it. I've never gotten one.
You know what I feel like is going to happen with you? That you're going to get what Marin had, which is like, I feel like he wasn't really acting, and then he just got so popular and so just good, like you are, and then it's and who Mark Norman is so 100% just out there and understood and picked up on that. It's going to be like, oh well, then when you're in a show where you're basically playing yourself, then you won't have to really. It'll be an easy transition. That's what I see happening.
Oh, hey, I hope you're right.
Like a single camera Seinfeld,
Yeah, I'll take it. I've never gotten anything. I auditioned for Curb, all this cool shit, and I was like, oh, I'll get Curb. I mean, I'm born for this show. Nothing. So, yeah. But what was your question? I had an answer for your question.
The cop picture.
Oh, yeah, the cop. So some guy did a sketch, Stavros?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Cumtown fame, big Greek guy, hilarious guy, fat guy. He was doing a sketch, and he's like, could you play a cop? I think it'd be funny. And I put the cop uniform on, and I instinctively started just fucking with people because you get that authority, you get that feeling. And I was like, hey, put your mask on. Whoa, black kid, keep it down, and everybody knew I was joking. But like, I go, hey, can I borrow this? I'm going to shoot a sketch tomorrow of just me going to Central Park and fucking with people. And we shot it, and it came out great. So that was like a little teaser.
Oh, my God, dude. Fuck, dude. See, that's the show. I mean, you as a New York cop, because like, just with your affable, approachable voice, which is like a little goes against, like, you think of most cops, you think of a guy that's like, hey, fuck face, get out of the way, dickwad. Hey, where you going?
Right.
A guy that's just, but you're so, when you talk, you got such a little bit of a higher inflection that's like real, you know what I'm saying? Like more approachable, just likable. And
yeah, well, it was
that contrast is great for a cop.
Exactly. And it really worked out because I'd go up, I guess like a lot of minorities really know police culture, because I would go up and they just start laughing. Like they knew immediately I was fucking around, even though I was trying to be a real cop.
Dude, even cooler. Maybe that's what it is. You're some kid that always wanted to be a cop. Maybe because I don't know if it's because you got bullied or pushed around and that's why you did it, and you still can't get that that respect as a cop, or maybe I don't know how you get into it, but that's really funny in and of itself, that like the one cop that people don't like, but people like you because of that, but they just don't respect you. So it's like when you're coming to crash down on parties and whatnot, you actually can't get anything done. And maybe because of that, maybe like you didn't have friends growing up, so then like these people that they don't respect you, but then they want to be friends with you, so you're torn. You're like, oh, I can go to all these parties now and hang out, but I can't bust them, which is what I'm supposed to do.
Right. Yeah. So that's pretty much. I don't want to give too much away. It'll be out in like a week. But the whole video, this kid is skateboarding in the park, and I go, whoa, son, give me the board. He goes, really? He's like a 15-year-old kid. I take the board and I start doing tricks, and he's like, what the fuck? So he goes nuts. There's one guy selling weed. I go, all right, and I confiscate his weed, and I just smoke it in front of him, and he's like, what the fuck? So that's the whole video, and it came out great.
Oh, dude, that's gonna crush.
I hope so.
Do you ever get surprised when you see like the wheelchair clip you posted? I saw Freddie Prinze Jr. liked it. He's a homie of mine. I don't know if you know Freddie. Do you know Freddie at all?
I've chatted with him on Twitter. Jesus, Freudian. He's a hunk. But great guy, loves comedy.
Oh, huge comedy fan. Yeah, I've seen him post your clips a lot too. Is there any part of you that I don't know if it's geek out, but just goes, oh, cool. Like whether it's Freddie or anybody like that, where you're like, oh man, these are people I grew up watching, or as I got older, like I mean, shit, like Obama's on the gram. How do you like? What if you saw him just like a clip of yours, or just put in the comments like comedy queef, like would that blow your mind, or would you just go like, oh no?
100%. Yeah, that would totally blow my mind. And somebody asked Bill Burr this question, and he was like, I hate that. I hate all these celebrities, because his theory is if Obama starts to like Bill Burr, then Bill Burr can't trash Obama in a bit. He's like, I don't want them to like me, then I can't make fun of him, which I never thought of. But I would go nuts. Yeah, like I've had just minimal guys, D-list guys be like, you're hilarious. Like a Ryan Philippe once liked my shit. Not to say he's D-list, but
very cool.
I was like, that's so crazy. I used to jerk off to Cruel Intentions. The whole thing's crazy.
Yeah, dude, that was Cruel Intentions. I remember that. I want to say Wild Things when the girls kissed, and then when the girls kissed in Cruel Intentions were like the I don't want to say the
What
first.
else?
I mean, before it was really before porn was a thing, so it was like you had to get it in movies, unless it was like magazines or you had a dad, which I didn't, that like slipped you magazines.
No, I didn't have that either. My dad's super gay, but we had like Time Cop had a hot scene.
Yeah.
Basic Instinct. What's that one with Natasha? Species.
Species, yeah. There's My Stepmother's an Alien with Kim Basinger and Dan Aykroyd.
Oh, so hot.
So hot.
Trying to think. There was some great titty movies back. Like all the National Lampoons had some tit stuff.
I was never a like cartoon like, you know, like there's Roger Rabbit, Jessica Rabbit. Like I remember a buddy once told me, he's like, dude, how hot was, I was like, you mean that when you say that? He's like, dude, for a cartoon? I'm like, did you hear what you did for a cartoon? Yeah. He's like, dude, fucking unbelievable tits for a cartoon. I was like, yeah, I mean, also not real. He was like, dude, I don't know. It's just like you see that, and then she looks like a person. So then you like think of who you know that she looks like. I'm like, man, you gotta go outside more, or just get off the internet. But like, I'm glad that there's certain fetishes or things like that where I'm like, man, I'm glad that never became my thing. You know, like I used to see
totally
like on A&E, there's a show, I think it was My Strange Addiction, and you know, guys that would get off on like, you know, getting their girls fat, like feeding them tons of sugary, salty sweets, and she'd just be sitting there and she's like, should I eat more cake? And he's like, yeah, eat it. And then they cut to him in a talking head and he's like, I can't wait till she gains another 20 pounds and then it'll be even tougher to fuck. I love that. And then they cut to another piece and the girl's like, I can't start my day unless I eat a bar of soap and suck on a foot. And I was like, fuck, man, how did I avoid this being my thing? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not doing everything right, but like, I guess is that like learned from like from the household you grew up in, or like, is it product of your environment? Does somebody tell you about eating soap and then you try it?
Well, you know, it's not that crazy to me because there's people who want to fuck kids, there's people who want to fuck animals. Yeah. Like it just somewhere in your childhood or something, your one wire gets crossed somewhere, like something flips in you, and now all of a sudden you're eating the inside of a sofa, or you're feeding a fat lady, or whatever it is. You're fucking a tailpipe, you know. So like, something just gets twisted in your head at some point, and that's it.
There's this story in Seattle, speaking of just fucking animals. That's the third time I've said that today. There's a story in Seattle, a guy in Enumclaw, Washington. This was in 2001. And Enumclaw, it doesn't just sound like a place where you're like, oh, is that where some guy died from getting fucked by a horse? Yeah, because it's Enumclaw. And this guy who had a family was slipping away to bang this horse or get banged by the horse. And finally, the horse, which, you know, people make jokes about horse cock and like how big they are.
Yeah.
So the fact that he's even attempting to take that on, you know, I guess you applaud the effort, but like,
sure,
you know, take the loss. Maybe the story of trying is cooler than actually doing it. But this guy, I think, actually had the attraction to the animal and really got off on it. So he died because it punctured his colon. Cut to, they made it illegal in 2001 because of this. To which I'm saying, like, hey, so it was legal before that? And also, like, immediately I just think of the guys who were like, you know, it's like this guy finally got busted. He's like the guy who, you know, got a little too crazy at the party, like jumped off the roof, fucking landed on the neighbor's car. So the cops came and shut down the party. And now, like, parties are banned on that street. So this guy fucked it up for the rest of the potential horse fuckers who are sitting around like, all right, well, fucking, now what am I, like, you know, beating girls is tough. I finally had it in. Yeah.
You go to, you go to a baseball game. You go like, oh, we got to drink a plastic cup. Well, some guy threw a beer bottle on the field in 1988. Like, oh, fuck this guy. That's the same thing. But the real winner in this situation is the horse, because he gets to go back to the other horses in the stable and go, I fucked that guy to death. I'm the man. You know, they're gonna be like, holy shit, high five, high hoof. He looks like a
dude,
badass.
I love a world. Yeah, yeah. Hey, Seabiscuit. Yeah, like fucking how's
Yeah, he got in those guts, literally.
Oh man, yeah. That's a that's a story I would like to see animated. I don't think that's like a Pixar type situation, but like a horse going back to brag about killing a human like that. But that is, again, thank God we didn't like. There wasn't an ounce of curiosity to want to like, go down that hole.
No, God, no, not into the animal thing. I mean, I don't know. It just do animals like it is the question. Like, are animals mad about that law? Like, what
Great
the
question.
fuck? I was fucking Jethro. I'm a goat, and now it's illegal. Maybe that's kind of like
maybe this horse was like, "Yo, man, have you tried human butt?"
Right.
He's like, "Horse butt sucks, man."
Yeah, it's manure-y. It's too big. The human butt's got to be tight and warm. I mean, the animals are missing out. Maybe we haven't checked in with them.
By the way, this is anytime I go off on like a tangent like this, I always like think of it as being like some sort of like a to kind of a button it like, a horse butt, it's got to be all shitty and just too loose, but a human butt, it's like tight and warm. Anyway, John and Diane, congrats. This is a big day for you guys. Have you given any best man speeches in the last couple of years?
I haven't because my friends won't let me do it because I think they're worried what I'll say, which I'm fine with because every wedding I'm 3 sheets to the wind within like the first, Billy Joel song, I'm gone. So it's probably a bad idea. You get a Jew joke in there and a slavery joke. It's not good.
Wedding audiences, I feel like, are, at least in my experience, I just officiated Adam Devine's wedding and I had so many jokes where I was like, oh, I'm gonna do this, and then I just was like, it's not about that, man. No one's look.
Yeah.
People definitely expect me to, and he asked me to do it for, for some comedy, but it's like you got to read the room. You can't be making, you don't, for me to walk away and it's just you want to just have people go, oh yeah, it did a good job, instead of like, I can't believe you fucking said that, like.
Exactly.
And there was part of me treating it like a set. But you have to, you got to read the room on those things.
It's not your time to test out your edgy, see where the line is. The guy's aunt is there. You kind of want to fuck her. It's probably just play it safe. I mean, the reason they hire you is because you're personable. You know how to do it. You can be confident on stage. They don't hire you for your social commentary.
Yeah, I was recently at a wedding and I saw the best man give a speech. He was fucking shithoused. So already he stumbled up there and he's a bigger dude. And it was like, just to walk up to the mic, you could hear everyone shift in their chairs like, oh boy. Like he just had this swagger of like, I'm going to go too long and I'm going to say the wrong stuff. He should have just opened with that and he probably would have gotten a lot more support.
Yeah.
He started telling stories about how him and my buddy was getting married were like drunk driving the night he met his girl and like fell asleep in his car at Universal Studios and like the amount of chicks they were hitting on like that night. Dude, it was literally everything you don't want to say. And then his pauses were the opposite of comedic, where it was just like long and he would like hiccup burp into the mic before. And then at one point he looked like he was going to cry and then he just started laughing. And it was, I taped about 8 minutes of it. I should play it, but he'll probably, he'd probably kill himself. So your podcast, We Might Be Drunk. Are you guys actually ever drunk for? I love it, by the way. You and Sam have a great rapport.
Oh, thanks. We go back, 12 years friendship. But he's one of the last guys around drinking. We're getting older. Everybody's on a health kick.
Yeah, what the
Everybody's
fuck?
sober now. So like me and him still get sloppy. And we shoot those at like maybe 2 a day. We'll do a podcast at noon, then a Patreon at 1, then another episode at 2. And, by 2:30, you're fucking blitzed because you've just been drinking the whole time. So they start off great, but the back half is always a slurry mess.
Yeah, will you ever get like completely shithoused, or is it like you just kind of want to have a little buzz on?
We have, but it happens on accident. We have spots that night. We're trying to keep it together, but you're just sitting there for 4 hours, just sipping, and before you know it, you're wasted.
Yeah, I try to go through pockets. Like even when I got down here, I didn't drink for about 10 days, and I thought I was actually going to go for a while. And then I, went out and did a couple shows, and it just got caught up. I was just like, I'm going to have a couple. But then and then I was just like, all right, well, I'm not blacking out, but and I think as you get older, and the busier we get and the more responsibilities, like, yeah, just innately, you're probably going to curb it a little bit. But like, I don't know. It's just, I just can't see. I'm not doing crack. I'm not doing coke. I'm not doing meth. I'm not fucking taking Plan B anymore. So I'm just like, there's a certain amount of, room that I need to be filled up with a vice of some, and I enjoy it still. It's not like if it's getting in the way, I think you know it, but
yeah,
there's still enough social, experiences where I'm like, yeah, I would like to have a cocktail here.
Yes. And good for you. I mean, that's the thing is you got to like it enough not to abuse it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we do. We don't go too hard. We don't black out. Now, what time is it over there? Because when I was over there, I was getting blacked out every night because I was fucked up with the time change. Yeah,
I've had a tough time getting on that. It's 11:47 a.m. on Saturday.
Oh, that's not bad. Okay,
yeah.
Okay. You're in the future.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it's a 12-hour time difference from New York. So like 6 a.m. was now 6 p.m. And I was so fucked up off it that I would drink to like even out. And I had some bad hangovers in Melbourne.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. It was a wild trip. I mean, great and fun and a hell of an experience, but there was an after party every night and you don't know anybody. So you're getting drunk. You're in a weird place. You're alone. So you end up boozing to like have social, lubrication. And it was sloppy.
Do you like to party with the locals? I'm sure when you were going around with Bert, it's like there's nobody you can't get a better teacher as far as like how to mix it up with people post show. And that's probably why he extra dug having you on the road, right? Because you're down for the hang like that.
I'm down for the hang. We had another guy show up halfway through the trip. I'm not going to say who it was, but after one night, he was like, we had a week left. He's like, I'm out. Like, you guys just go. I'm not going out anymore. So I was like, motherfucker, I've already been here a week. And you packed it up on the first ni't, and I still had a week to go. So I did the whole time at least, but nobody can hang with Bert. I don't know how he does it. He truly is a machine.
Yeah. Brad and I went on the Something Burning show, and he literally was like, I'm on a cleanse. And Brad and I went into it, and I was like, Brad, everyone who's been on the show has not really drank or doesn't drink. Like I think Dalia and Callan were on one, and then Theo and Bobby, and there's just people that I think, that weren't drinking or weren't going to drink on the show. And I was like, and the few I saw were just having a few. I was like, Brad, what do you got to do tomorrow? He's like, I leave for China at like 10 a.m. I was like, let's fucking go for it. So we come in, we drank a little before, and then we went in, and then Bert was like, are you guys drinking? And we were like, yeah, man, we're kind of going for it. And he's like, fuck, I'm on a cleanse. I was going to whatever. And then he just said, fuck it. And he said he was as drunk as he's ever been. I'm sure he, said that before, but
sure.
But it was like, but even once we got into it, I was like, oh man, I can't keep up. There's just, it's almost like he's got a second stomach to digest everything.
Completely. I remember I did that show as well, and he was trying not to drink, and he opened the fridge to get out some eggs or something to cook with. And a Heineken fell out, and he was like, all right. And that was enough. Just the Heineken falling out of the fridge. He's like, all right, I'll start drinking. You talked me into it. And then he just cracked it open.
Just the sound of it hitting the floor got his juices going. He felt bad for it, yeah.
Wow. And then I had one, and then here we're off to the races. But there's something about being in another place. Like, I go to LA, I'm like, give me a cocktail. Let's hit the store. Let's go to the Improv. But then you go to Australia, and you can't get further away. So you really want to party.
Yeah. There's something about also being in a different country where I get so curious about, like I was just people watching yesterday and started chatting with this old couple, and they were just like, I asked just a couple questions and they were so willing to tell me so much information about their lives. And I was like, fuck, dude, I just want to and I wondered too, how much, I was walking by some of these restaurants and all these people outside sitting and just everyone's so engaged. Didn't see anyone on a phone, by the way. Which I'm sure it happens, obviously. It's like everyone does it. Like no country is immune to that. But like But just at this one time, I walked around, and everybody was just like this, talking to each other. And I wanted to just see, like, I wonder if I could just walk up and sit down and, like, what would have to be my opening line or what would have to be my approach to just, like, sit down and be like, hey, guys, I'm from America. I just fucking, you guys seem cool. Like, can I mix it up? I was like, I feel like most of these tables would be receptive to that.
Yeah.
But I was
especially as an American, because at least you have a thing, you have a gimmick.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. I think we're interesting to them. Yeah, we are. Like, that's like our hook, right?
Yeah, I went to England as a kid. I was like 21. I went to England for fun, and I hooked up with so many girls because they're like, "You're American." Oh my god, I can't do the accent.
No, that was good.
I went French, American. But then they were like, "Righto, governor, here we are, an American Yankee, a bloke, or whatever." And I hooked up with girls just because of my voice, which doesn't happen here. I'll tell you that.
Wow, England as a kid, that's a fucking trip.
It was wild.
Just by yourself?
Me and another guy went just for the fuck of it. We had nothing, I was 21 years old. We finished college with nothing going on. And they said, let's go to England.
You know what's cool about traveling at that age too is that you truly have no game plan. At least I feel like as a dude, I feel like girls are way better at like plotting out and strategizing. Like, we're going to hit this museum. We're going to hit this. There's a winery, there's a distillery, we're gonna see where they made the first tea and crumpets. And you're like, yeah, cool. And then there's like there's probably a bar next door and maybe a glory hole, a British glory hole. Have you been watching any of this? Anytime you're one of the few people because you do have the ability to like, riff on topical shit. And when you see things like, oh, I don't know, man, this Minnie Mouse going from a dress to a pantsuit, and like I see it being blown up on the news, or the M&Ms. People are freaking out because the M&Ms are like now going to be woke. Like the green M&M is they want her to not be as sexy and not wear stilettos. Now it's like comfy casual sneaker shoes. The orange M&M, they say, is supposed to like is gonna now suffer from like anxiety to better reflect like young people. This quote I have, it says, the company said the makeover to M&Ms is a global commitment to creating a world where everyone feels like they belong and society is inclusive. And I'm just like, who the fuck is looking at M&Ms as some sort of like beacon of like, fuck it, it's almost like, I feel like Geraldo had this great joke when 9/11 happened where he's like, they're going to all these people who are like, DMX, like, what do you think about the towers fault? Like, it was just, we're like the voices that we're like leaning on for social justice or just like to right the wrongs of society and getting things on the right page. I'm like, fucking, why does Eminem need to feel like they need to be a player in the game of things being of political correctness?
I'll answer your question. It's a two-part answer. One, it's genius marketing because we've never talked about M&Ms in our life. It's, except for when we give them to children we're trying to sleep with. But, we never talk about M&Ms in our life, and now we're talking about it. So it's some marketing lady or guy who's in a boardroom like, if we go woke, it's going to be a fucking shit show. Everybody's going to go nuts. They're going to be talking about it. And it worked. Now Fox is talking about it. CNN's talking about it. And it's Mr. Potato Head is the one who came up with it. But that
was the trendsetter.
Yeah, exactly. I think he went genderless or non-binary or whatever. And you're like, it's a fucking spud with glasses. But
yeah, I just remember one soundbite, some guy being like, Mr. Potato Head doesn't have a clit. And it was just like, dude, that's the soundbite you used?
But
yeah.
Exactly. So that's one. And then two, they get to be on the right side of history. So it's a genius move because, hey, look at us. We're woke. We're progressive. And you're talking about us. So it's a win-win.
Yeah, it's you're right. It is genius. Because fucking when, and it probably, I mean, you got to think about other companies now that are going to get in line, hopefully, and try to, things like McDonald's, I guess they don't need any more like extra advertisement, but it's like, maybe you have, I guess if they were to come out and be like, hey, Ronald McDonald is a woman now, or Grimace is, they announce like Grimace is actually Korean, or like some sort of, right? Some sort of like flip it on its head.
Well, just for once, I'd like to see one company have the balls to go the other way, just for fun. Like, hey, the bee from Honey Nut Cheerios is going to storm the Capitol. if we got one way, let's go the other way. Fuck it. Let's get a little diversity here.
Dude, that would actually be great, where you see like a whole reenactment of him like on the phone in an apartment talking to his guys to be like, yeah, like chain smoking, putting on fucking this like American jacket, like, brushing his teeth to Lee Greenwood's, and I'm proud to be an American. And then you see him get out and like a very like intense music, driving in like a windowless van, gets out, meets up with other guys. And you see him just link arms in slow-mo and just go, ah, and then he runs toward the screen. And then you cut to him like sitting in Pelosi's desk, like eating a bowl of Honey Nut Cheerios.
Boom. There's the ad, right? That's a perfect ad. Yeah. I would kill for that. And then that would get a bunch of buzz. I'm not saying I support the Capitol bullshit, but I'm just saying, like, if we're going to go one way, the other team should go the other way and get just as much publicity.
By the way, did you even mean to say that? That would get a lot of buzz. Now, because I'm wondering if that's what somebody says to the Honey Nut Cheerios, he's sitting there, they'd be like, one of his friends or on the witness stand, right? They're doing like, so Steve, we don't know what his name is. Like, so Steve, why did you storm the Capitol? What was your intention? He's like, well, create a lot of buzz, didn't it? Like, all right. This
I like it.
my 7-year-old nephew is starting to write jokes, and I wanted to throw a few your way and see if there's what you think, if you think he's ready for stand up or not, because I know you do a comedy class, right, on Patreon?
Yeah, wow. Yeah, I do. Good call.
That's
Thanks.
fucking awesome, dude. Yeah, I was that's so when I see, there's been people doing comedy classes for centuries, and the ones that were going when I came up about 15 years ago were people where I was like, even at that point, I was like, oh, you're not doing it. Like, what? You're not, but I wanted to, get my finger on some sort of structure and learn. So it was the only ones that were available, but there were people that weren't active in the stand-up community. So I'm like, which didn't make any sense to me. I'm like, wouldn't you want to be taking a class and getting tips from people that are in it and are like, really, but I guess, there's so many people that are starting out that have no idea. But what's the demo of the people that are signing up for? Are they just like fans that kind of want to like connect with you on that level, or most of them actually want to dive in and try it?
I think it's a little of both. That's the weird thing about stand-up is a lot of people who love stand-up kind of have that inkling of like, I want to do this. So they watch it almost like, oh, I wish I could do that. I wish I could do that. Whereas you watch Mick Jagger and you're not like, maybe I'll be a front man for a rock band.
Yeah.
Stand-up is the one thing where they think they can do it. But a lot of these guys are open micers or just huge autistic-y kind of joke brain guys who just want to have an outlet for that kind of thing. They'll just write jokes at their house for no reason. So it's a little mixture of fledgling comics and just autistic weirdo types.
That's awesome, dude. Do you get a decent amount of people sign up for them?
Yeah, we're getting like 30, 40 a class, and then we'll work on they'll ask me questions, and then I go, what do you guys got? And we'll literally go down the line for like an hour, and everybody will do their bit, and then we'll all punch it up together as a class, and it's pretty cool.
Yo, that's brilliant, dude. That's really, has it made you, I mean, it's just like an acting class. Like, you get better by watching, and you get, and you as the teacher, I mean, dude, you're getting so much out of that, because it's like, I mean, the same way podcasting and doing all this stuff, everything begets everything, I feel like. So it's like the amount of, times you're just getting those reps of conversing with anything. It's just like, you're just strengthening that muscle for the stage or for a late night thing or for a meeting or whatever. It's like, you're just getting, which is why I just, I think you're the same way, where it's like, you just try to always do it if you get asked to do something, if it's gonna, even if it's not moving the needle that day, it's like, it's just stacking the chips of making you stronger in that area, right?
That's exactly, it's stacking the chips. And you brought up that dick riff earlier. That's probably all just coming from the classes, the podcasting, the joke writing, the stand-up on my own. So it all begets. You're right.
Have you had someone in the class where you're like, oh wow, there could be a future opener here, like it, just in the same way?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's like two guys in particular where I'm like, A, they bring a killer joke every week to the table, and
That's
B,
awesome.
when we're doing the punch up, they're fucking on it. And I'm like, Jesus, who's this guy? He's like a phenom. How did this guy? He's like a welder in Ireland, and he's just fucking bringing the heat.
That's incredible. It's cool when that happens, where there's people that almost like with kid actors, where they don't know any better, so they don't have any actor concerns, or so they're not getting in their own way. So they're just like, oh, is this funny? And you're like, yeah, it's actually fucking brilliant, dude. I guess you're not overthinking it. So you're just kind of seeing like, just kind of like a joke formula and just having. Now on the flip side, are there people where
like
are there people that are that where they'll bring in like a joke and you're like, hey man, that's off Chappelle's second special? Or are people savvy enough to not do that?
Yeah, there's a little of that, but it's never on purpose. Like they never like, oh, I bet I'll get slip this Chappelle joke in. No one will know. They'll think I'm a genius. But it's just a lot of parallel thinking because there's so many jokes have been done. So it happens.
It's so crazy when that does happen. There was a comic, I won't say his name. He's but when he was starting out, I was, and still am, such a big Geraldo fan, and I just knew all his bits so well. And he did 2 bits one time when we were hanging out, like in conversation, like it was an organic way to do it. But if that's going to happen, usually the person sets up like I've done during this conversation where I'm like, oh, there was that great bit or whatever. You give some sort of a heads up, but he just kind of said it as its own. And then I kind of waited for him to be like, fuck it, I love that bit. And he didn't. And I was just like, huh? Like he just, said it as his own little anecdote. And I'll never forget that.
Wait a minute. He slipped his bits in a conversation?
Geraldo's bits it fit in context of the conversation, but it's like there was no at the beginning or the end of him being like, that's blah blah blah, or like, man, I love that, like any sort of a credit to he just kind of so it was kind of this awkward beat, and I didn't have it in me to call him out on it because it was just so you know what I'm saying? I was like, it's just
so
better.
Egregious.
It's the same way. It's like if you're at a urinal and you catch a guy staring at your cock, it's like, but just let him stare. Like,
Let him stare. Yeah. Sorry about that, by the way. I was drinking, but I got to look at another cock in a bathroom. I can't help it.
Yeah, dude. There was that great episode in Curb where they were looking at Muggsy Bogues' dick.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, that's such the amount. I mean, I can't remember if it was because he was small or because he was black that they wanted to get a look. I think it was because he was black, because they were asking Wanda Sykes about that, and she's like, "What the fuck, Larry?
Yes.
Why am I your gauge for everything black?" He's like, "What?"
Yeah, that's right.
You've probably seen a lot,
He's my hero.
Me too, man. Yeah, you'll get on that show. You'll get your own show, and then Larry will just, or maybe have Larry on your show. Who could Larry play on your show? You as the cop, maybe the chief.
Maybe the chief of police, or my dad, or my landlord. Who knows?
Your dad. Yeah, fuck, that'd be amazing. Holy shit.
Yeah, that would be fun. He's the real deal, man. I mean, he's like keeping comedy alive. Like the kind of comedy he does is kind of rare now, especially like you can see it online and on TikTok, but he has an HBO show, so he's in the mainstream, and I love that. Also,
it is never lost on me when people, because I know he's in his, I think, early 70s or 68, 69. Yeah. It's just, I not that it should be that crazy, but like, I don't know, man. I know people at that age that are, I mean, my stepdad is 78, dude, and his pun game is fucking unreal. Like, he's Mark Norman level quick with puns, dude. I'm not even fucking kidding you. And it's like truly baffling. And I'm like, I hope I'm that cognizant and quick at that age. You can take a piss.
Yeah, same. I think you got to stop drinking. Sorry, I'm dying here. All that urinal talk.
Dude, I respect. This is way cooler than you setting the phone down and saying, "I'll be right back." This tells me where we are friendship-wise, too.
Yeah, we're all friends here. It had to happen.
Now, would you take the phone if you just had the worst case of Sacramento diarrhea? Would you set the phone down, or would you bring me with you?
I would definitely bring you with me for diarrhea. I mean, that's quiet.
It's quiet? You got quiet diarrhea? Who are you?
Well, it dribbles out like a piss. It's like soft serve. My dick didn't show up there, did it, on the screen?
No, we got just the start of the pubes. All right, so here
All right.
Here are these jokes from my nephew real quick. I want you to just tell me like yay or nay. Like this.
Hit me.
I guess basically just tell me like, would this could he put this in his act or does it need work? I guess that's how we'll gauge it. Knock knock.
Who's there?
Glory hole.
Glory hole who?
Oh, I thought this was just a place I could rest my penis in between shifts. Don't tell my wife.
All right. It didn't really go with the who, but I'll take it.
Right. Okay. So he can. All right. That can keep that in the act. Keep it or leave it. So I guess keep it. Why was 6 afraid of 7?
Why?
Because 7, 8, 9. And because 11
that's old. That's not his.
Well, here's what he added. And because 11 and 12 were serial rapists.
They were stealing papers? Hold on, we're breaking up here.
Because 11 and 12 were serial rapists.
Oh, there you go. But why would he eat them?
Great. Hey, look, you can take this up with a 7-year-old.
All right. Well, wow, this gets dark.
Why? Hey,
7 years old doing serial rape jokes.
COVID.
And glory hole.
COVID really got to him.
An animal.
Why did the teacher wear sunglasses?
Why?
Because her students were too bright. Also, she had a severe retina disease that made her eye gradually disappear in the socket. The only cure? Black guy jizz. I mean,
all right. I like this kid.
So here's what inspired that. And I want to, before we wrap this up. So one of my favorite things on Norm's podcast is when he would give jokes to, do you remember at the end of the episodes? Did you ever watch it? He would give jokes and have people read jokes that he clearly wrote that were.
I love it.
Yeah. And I saw you had a real beautiful post when Norm passed. And I assume it made total sense once I saw your post about how he was one of your heroes and how people, would even compare you guys a lot when they'd see clips of yours, which must have been a huge compliment. How early on in your, I guess, comedy development or career did he become like a guy that you were like, yeah, that's my guy?
That's a good question. I mean, like most guys, I was not that hip to stand up as a kid. You watch SNL, you watch Animal House, Caddyshack, all that shit. But I got into college and I found stand up, and I was obsessed with Seinfeld and Chris Rock and Louis C.K. and all that shit. And then you find your fringe guys like Hedberg and Geraldo. And then I found Norm, and I was like, all right, fuck the other guys. I'm all in on this guy because the stand-up was good, the panel was good, dirty work was good, and it was like slackery comedy where he just didn't give a shit. And that, like, Seinfeld is wearing a suit, he's buttoned up, he's clean, he's Jewy. I liked it, but it didn't hit home like Norm, where he just didn't give a fuck. He had the weird voice, and he was like anti-comedy, but also great comedy. I don't know. He was my favorite.
Did you ever get to work with him?
No, I met him once for about 5 minutes, and we chatted in the hallway of the Cellar. Then he went on to do his Letterman set at the Cellar. He was running it, so I got to see that live.
Wow!
And he couldn't have been nicer. And just a sweet guy, sweet man, 6'3", brilliant, and just obsessed with comedy. Always looking for the joke. Him and Joe List were pretty tight. And him and Joe had a text thread, and Joe showed me the text thread, and the text thread is hilarious.
Shut the fuck up. Yeah, that's always. I had a buddy. That's funny you bring that up. I had a buddy ask me about that. He's like, "Is texting with comedians?" Which I thought was a great non-comic question, and just like a great thing to get insight on a little curtain peel back. He's like, "Are the text threads you have as fun?" And I was like, "Well, it depends on who you're texting with, but like, yeah, like if you're funny on stage and you're hopefully that carries over off stage, then yeah, like I think if you're truly in this, then you're like that. It should always be a part of like every moment, at least like even for me, I can't help it. And and obviously for better or for worse, sometimes you're saying stuff where people are like, all right, man, like I said, like at a best man speech, but it's like, I would rather have that be a part of, the way I'm always thinking versus not, you know what I'm saying? Like always, even I heard Schwartzen just say this, where he's like, even sometimes if I don't say it, I'm always thinking the joke. You know what I'm saying? Like it always just pops into your head, even if you're not saying it in the moment. Right.
Yes.
Which is a great place to get to.
And these comics are fucking themselves. Yeah, exactly. These comics are fucking themselves where I'm now around comedians sometimes and I'm like, oh, here's a great joke. They'll hate me for this if it's got retard in it or it's a gay joke.
Oh man.
And you're just saying the worst possible thing you can think of because it's funny and we're all dead inside. But now I'm like always censoring around certain people. So around people like you who I trust, I'll throw out anything.
Yeah. Well, that brings
these
me
comics
to
are fucking themselves.
That brings me to the closer. I wanted to hear you, because you said you don't do accents, but I'd like to hear you say the N-word. And I'm going to give you an accent, and then I want to hear I do want to close this out with a little inside the actor studio, get to know Mark Norman, 10-question questionnaire. R.I.P. James Lipton.
Lay it on me.
You would have been on the show at some point, so now we'll do it here live. 10 questions with Mark Norman. I'll be James Lipton. Mark, what is your favorite word?
Hit me, fatty. I say it again.
What is your favorite word?
I missed it.
What is your favorite
word? Oh shit, I don't know. That's a good one. I like queef because we all know it, but you don't hear it that often. But it also involves a vagina noise, and it's like a vagina fart. It's just so great of a word, and it gets a laugh. Just the word alone gets a laugh. So that's why I use it all the time, because it's usually you need a setup and a punchline to get a laugh. This is just a single word. I think it's the funniest word in the American language.
Quick queef story.
Please.
The first time
I love a QQS.
The first time I did stand up in Seattle at Giggles, open mic, I did this joke where I go, this was like halfway through the set, I go, all right, I want to do something real quick just to kind of bring the crowd together and just kind of unify us all on the same page. I'm going to split the room in half. I want this side to go on the count of 3. I want this side to go, and I want this side to go, boop. All right, 1, 2, 3. And they did it, and I go, congrats, you're all part of the world's biggest queef. And it got no laughs, just exactly the response you gave me. And then the owner gave me the flash of the light 5 minutes too early. Mark, what's your... Oh, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah,
that's probably never been done on stage ever.
That's what I'm saying.
Like a Guinness Book thing.
It was edgy before my time. What is your least favorite word, Mark?
Least favorite word. I think I know it. It's like. People abuse the shit out of that word. People overuse the word like, Valley Girls and all these people. I hate the word like. It's too much.
It used to be
I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. When people go, man, I was like putting my shoes on. Like, no, you were putting your shoes on. You weren't like putting your shoes on. It's all we do is deal with like trying to cut out extra words, and it's just adding extra words. Even people start a sentence. Oh, like I went to the mall today. Well, where'd you get the like? You went to the mall. It drives me nuts.
Yeah,
but I know I'm an old man yelling at a cloud here, but it just fucking kills me.
My mom used to tell me it was a sign of it was a lack of intelligence to overuse that word.
It was a what?
Lack of intelligence to overuse that word.
Ooh. Okay. Well, there you go. Definitely waters down your language.
I think so. What turns you on? Sexual or not?
Sexual, strangers. I think strangers are sexy because you don't know all the bad shit about them. So that's hot. People like, what do you want in bed? I'm like, I don't know. Someone new.
A new foot?
That's hot. Yeah. Something you never seen before. A gal you don't know. That's fun. Not that, my gal's great, but strangers are sexy because you don't know anything about them yet.
Which is so funny, because as a kid,
so
you're taught to deflect strangers.
Interesting. Good point. Don't talk to strangers. Yeah.
Don't talk to him as a kid, and as an adult, all you want to do is fuck him. What's that about?
Yeah, I don't want to talk to him.
I don't want to
still
finish
don't
the
wanna
bit
talk
at
to him, but
Seinfeld's,
yeah.
but you get it. Yeah.
But yeah, let's see. What turns me on? Otherwise, like, I think interesting shit turns me on. Not sexually, but like,
Yeah.
you watch a documentary that's super interesting. I'm like, oh my god! I'm like jizzing in my brain. I love it.
Yeah. What? Speaking
Fun
of
facts. I love
what's
fun facts.
you do? Yeah. Do you have a type of brain where you just got a
Yeah,
sponge? You've got a big compartment of just shit you can pull from at any time.
Yeah, I used to have more. I used to follow a thing on Twitter called "Fucked Up Facts" or "Awesome Facts," and
Nice.
I just loved it. I would just scroll through them and read hundreds of them.
Have you seen a good doc recently that you would recommend?
Yeah, good question. There's a documentary. I think it's called Honey Pie or Honey Pot. It's about this woman in Albania who lives in a mountain, and she's friends with bees, and she's a beekeeper, and her whole existence is getting honey from them, and they love her. They never bite her. She goes in without a beekeeper outfit on and just does the honeycombs and scoops it up, puts it in a jar. Then she goes into the city on a train and sells it. The whole thing's fucking fascinating.
Holy shit. Yeah, anyone who dedicates their life to bees and like it's like
Yes.
and also like finds a common ground and connects with them like that grizzly man, the way that guy did with bears.
Right.
Fuck, dude. To
Right.
again, like growing up in a household where you just where that becomes to want to go and be around bears already, I feel like you're just a children's book character, but then to like want to be around them and like strange bears, like you talk about being turned on by strangers. Like, I mean, I wouldn't put it past Grizzly Man. Like, you know, we know he got eaten. Spoiler alert from being around bears that he didn't know. But like, how do we know he wasn't getting a little too handsy, and that's why those bears retaliated?
Good point. Good point. Yeah. I think that I saw that doc, and I think that guy was gay, and that's how he like coped with it.
Gay for
You
bears.
know, hey, bears.
Well, that's
Gay
don't
guy-
they
big
even
gay-
say
big guys are bears?
big guys are bears? Oh shit! Wow,
I never
dude.
put that together, but yeah, I think that guy was gay, and that's how he was coping with it. Was like going out and these bears aren't homophobic. My dad is.
I
So
think-
hang out with them.
I think we cracked the case. Do you have his parents' phone number? Call him. We can finally give him some closure. Don't worry about it. It had nothing to do with your guys' lack of parenting. It's because he was gay for bears. All right. What is your favorite curse word?
I don't know if I said this on here before because we did this once before, right?
Yeah. But I want to see your new answers.
I think before it was shitty. I love the word shitty because it
Yep.
describes something so perfectly. So right now I'm really enjoying fucktard.
Nice. I love a
'Cause you
good
get
combo
both, you get
curse.
two.
Yeah.
Yes, combo curse. Shit dick, or fucktard, pussy fag. I don't know. I can't think of another one, but
Bitch tits. Yeah. Yeah.
bitch tits.
Bitch tits is great,
Those
dude.
are great.
I remember the first time my friend's dad called me bitch tits, and I was a fat kid, so it was like it was extra. It stung double hard, you know, because I was like, all right, there's my friend's dad. I always had a couple friends' dads that would go hard in the paint on being like, you know, they were just real close to making like titty fuck jokes to me at 10, which I would have respected in hindsight, but like, because if anything, they're giving me that extra boost to make a change by giving me that verbal onslaught.
Right.
But bitch tits as a dad, like, you know, I don't know if that's the type of dad I'll be to make fun of my friends, my kids' friends, but I hope so, because that's the, you know, yeah. I think
That's what you want. I mean, that's a great dad.
you respect the guy's dad. You also go like, oh, this guy doesn't give a fuck, and but you got to find that balance. It's like, you know, call me bitch tits, but then like, let me use your hot tub.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's got to be a give and take.
Don't judge me when I stare at your wife's
Real
clit.
tits.
Yeah.
There we go.
There we go.
You can find that thing.
Yeah, I got the Nintendo cheat code. All right, what sound or noise do you love? And we'll wrap this up.
Ooh. I know this sounds cheesy, but I love a lady laughing. A female laugh is great.
Let's
it's
go.
Just so like, ha.
I know, man.
It's
it
so
really is the
comforting
best.
because you're like, I'm making this girl laugh, and it's just visual. I mean, it's audibly enjoyable. Just something about it. It's pleasing to the ear.
Yep.
So that's a good one.
All right. What sound or noise do you hate? That's a good one. We'll go with that.
Okay. Sound or noise do I hate? Let's see. Oh man, I grew up with an old car when I was a kid. I bought a 1971 Cutlass, and I know the sound of it when it wasn't going to start. You know, like la, 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 and it would kill me. I missed a prom date because I couldn't get my car to start. That's where I was at in high school.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
you missed the prom
pre-Uber.
You missed the prom altogether?
No, I made it to the prom, but my date was like, "Fuck it, like you're too late."
Oh.
So I saw her there. She got a ride with some girlfriends, but it was like the first half of the prom was me being like, I swear to God, it was an accident. My car sucked. She's like, why don't you get a new car? I'm like, I'm broke. I'm fucking 17.
Holy shit, dude.
And we're still together this day.
Yeah. I'm kidding.
But yeah.
Yeah. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt? Yeah, dude.
You know what would be nice is that Mad Men shit. I mean, I know it's glamorized and romanticized. The guys in the suits with the cigarettes up in Madison Avenue and a skyscraper.
Yeah. They're living the dream.
Together some ad for
Honey Nut Cheerios.
They're doing like an ad for Hilton. Right. Alt-right. That's the move. No. But I know that seems cool, but I know it'd just be a bunch of nerds in a boardroom in Cleveland, so it wouldn't be as glamorous as that. But other than that, I like UPS.
UPS would rule. I feel like it is interesting to think about, like, as funny as you are in this life, would you be this funny as that guy in that world? Do you know what I'm saying? Would you be that funny guy in the office? Maybe
in the 60s, because you could say crazy shit. But now I think HR would be up my ass.
Yeah, you can't. You couldn't make any of the jokes that you make in the everyday. There's got to be those guys though that are doing it and getting away with it in certain jobs where the HR or maybe it's the HR guy that's doing it and he's setting the tone. He holds a meeting. He's like,
that's a TV show.
He's like, look, there's 7 words you can't say. I'm going to give you the 14 you can say and have to say if you want to stay here. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
He
That's not bad.
He wants everyone to push the envelope. He's like, dude, he's like, look, I don't want you hugging somebody and feeling their boobs press on you. If you don't make some sort of creepy noise, we will fire you.
Right.
That place has got to exist out there.
Flip the tables on them. You know how they have that restaurant called Dick's where all the waiters are mean?
Yeah.
But now it's HR, but flipped.
Wow. Yeah. I don't think, just that they say that, everything comes back around, like, style coming back or whatever. I don't know if that's something that'll come back around where it's like, in 30 years, people will be like, hey, you can say all these words again. It's cool. Like everyone's eased up on it. I think it's once the line has been drawn as far as political correctness, I feel like there's just too much of especially now with the amount of sites and sound bites. There's just too many opportunities for people to blow it up, right? Unless the internet goes away and cell phones go away.
Oh, that's the only way. That's the only way it'll happen. And the internet has fucked up so many people. Like people have been canceled and doxxed, and girls are killing themselves with anxiety and all this shit. But like maybe there'll be a prohibition like alcohol had. Oh shit.
Yeah, I want to be a fly on the wall back in the 80s and 90s in like NBA locker rooms or like parties or planes or tour buses. Just from the stories I've heard from some of these guys being like, thank God cell phones weren't around. I'm like, fuck, dude, what was truly going down? It's like where they knew they weren't going to have. Maybe they hired a photographer like for The Last Dance, but like that's the only guy in there that's got any footage.
That's it. And it's still photos. And yeah, Led Zeppelin and like all those Motley Crue guys, forget about it. That shit was wild.
Oh yeah, just sucking and fucking everywhere. All right, last question.
Oh yeah.
If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Oh, man. I'd like him to say, hey, I know what you've heard. That was my publicist. We're nothing like that. Your grandparents aren't here. You can curse. It's actually fun. Chill out. Don't worry. It's not a bunch of angels. It's just a bounce house and a wet bar. So saddle up, bitch.
Dude, so God's a cool fucking, he's the guy that welcomes you to the party and hands you a cocktail. He's like, look, even Mark Maron's drinking over there.
Yeah. By the way, your second Maron reference. But I think I want it to be a little relaxed, because heaven is like, it's the pearly gates, it's God, it's upstanding citizens, and all the fun people are in hell. So I'd want heaven to just be like, hey, look, don't worry about all that shit. That was my publicist just making a brand out of me. We're actually fucking wild out here.
Yeah. Great answer. Dude, you're the best. Thanks for making time. I fucking love you. You're a beast. Your Netflix special was fire.
Thanks for having me.
Your Netflix special was so good, by the way.
Thank you.
Everybody go watch that. I mean, if they're smart, that just starts the train of throwing you a bigger one. But however it happens, you got your finger on the pulse of how to get shit out. And it's like for I'm sure you talk to your young comics about this too, but it's like all the things you control what you can control, which is something I've always dug about you, which is like, being prolific with writing, but also like, the more you write, the more you're going to have to hopefully capture it the right way and get opportunities to have stuff get captured and then getting it up. It's like, I mean, I see some of these clips of yours in the, millions and hundreds of thousands where I'm like, dude, as good as I do that, like, one of those clips is the reason that someone's even just coming out to a show or passing that on to 50 people. Who knows? It's like that could be that person could just be watching it for themselves. But I don't know, man. Comedy, I feel like, is one of the most shareable things where people get excited to every app makes it so easy now to just fucking click and send to whoever, a bunch of people. So good on you for staying so active with that, dude. You're taking over the world.
Thank you. I'm terrified it'll go away at any moment. So I just keep putting it up. Somebody described the internet as an IV drip. You got to just keep feeding it, or the patient will die. I'm like, God. But all right, here we go.
Who said that? Mark Maron?
I don't know. Gandhi? Somebody said that, but it stuck with me.
We'll crush it in Sacramento, dude. Don't do any meth. Tour dates at marknorman.com, right?
Hell yeah. I'm all over the road this year. We're really blowing it out with clubs and stuff. So come on by. I'll be in your town. Praise Allah.
Well, let's get fucked up next time I see you.
It's a date. Yeah, I miss you.
I miss you too, bud. Have fun. Thanks for doing this, Mark.
All right. Best eyebrows in comedy. Thanks a lot. Keep it up.
The Russian Jew in me. Thanks, playa.
I didn't know that. Well, we're no more hanging out.
See you, bud.
Take it easy.
Zoa. Thanks, Rock. Guys, Adam Ray here for the About Last Night podcast. Hope you enjoyed that episode. It was a good one. A lot of laughs, a lot of tears, a lot of stuff to think about and chew on, huh? Because that's what life's all about. Chewing on the good stuff. Nobody said that. Maybe Denzel did. Maybe Tom Hanks did. Maybe they said it together in Philadelphia. The point is, click subscribe right here on the ALN logo so you can get more episodes and stay up to date when new content drops. Highlights, animations, clips. It's all here for you, baby. I'll see you next time. Whoop, I don't know how to blink.